Hello everyone, today is 22nd of October. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Friends, first of all, let's have a look on today's GS folder. Today we'll take a quote from the missile man, the APJ Abdul Kalam. He says, if you salute your duty, you need not to salute anybody, but if you pollute your duty, you have to salute everybody. Now, guys, this particular quote reflects that a man of integrity and uprightness in his moral character needs not to appease anybody. His integrity and his conviction to duty speaks for himself. Guys, this particular thing needs to be the most foundational value for the civil servants. Now, guys, we can utilize this particular concept in GS paper number 4, where the foundational value of civil servants has been asked, as well as we can also utilize it in GS paper number 2 along with the essay. So, guys, that's it. And now let's take the today's newspaper analysis. Now, guys, let's first of all take the newspaper overview. Now, guys, here we can see that the ICMR has developed the new method, that is Govi Wrap. So we'll be seeing this thing. Then, guys, moving forward, here we can see that the report has been published which has mentioned about the problem of the air pollution. So we'll be seeing this thing. After that, guys, moving forward into the regional section of the news with respect to our UPSC exam has not been given. Now, guys, directly we are reaching to the editorial section. Now, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the journey of the NPCI into the future days. However, guys, with respect to the exam, much of the substantial stuff has not been given. Now, this particular article, it is talking about the rising, basically the COVID-19 number of cases, and as the festivals are coming, we should not be complacent. Then, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the diplomacy which has been driven by the President Donald Trump. However, guys, there is one particular issue, that as the elections are going to be held, and if into the election the Democrats turned victorious, then, guys, this particular thing will be not of any much relevance. So, guys, we need to see that what happens. After that, guys, here we can see that this particular article, it is mentioning about the issue of the social exploitation of the people who are working into the manual scavenging. This article talks about the issues with respect to the NEP. Then, guys, today we will be taking some articles from the Live Mint also. This particular article, it is talking whether we should go for local or whether we should go for global. Very good article, will be seeing this thing. Then, guys, this particular article has also been taken from the Live Mint. Now, guys, here India's Dickensian urbanization has been mentioned. So this particular phrase we have to see. Then, guys, moving forward. Now, as we move forward, here we can see that the travel bubble with respect to the Singapore has been mentioned. So we'll be seeing this thing. After that, guys, moving on, the Bihar elections related news we don't need to see. The infodemic management has been mentioned. So what is it? We'll be seeing this thing. Then, guys, the showcase page is not important for our exam. Then on to the world's page, guys, here we can see that the 2+2 dialogue will be happening soon. Now, guys, 2+2 dialogue is between the US and into India, where the finance minister and defense minister, they come together and take up some strategic issues. Then moving forward, here we can see that the government is to widen the PLI plan. So we'll be seeing this thing. After that, guys, the next is the sports page. However, nothing important has been given here. So that's it. And now let's take the newspaper analysis in detail. Now, the first news pertains to the recent COVID RAP diagnostic test, which has been approved by the ICMR for the testing of the COVID-19. Now, guys, we know that as the number of cases are rising and there is a threat that into the winters, the second wave of COVID-19 might also be coming, the impetus is to be given on increasing the number of tests. Now, guys, into this particular direction, this COVID RAP test, it is a very low cost test which can be carried and the result can be achieved in half an hour. This test has been made by the IIT Kharagpur, and, guys, now it might be used very soon for the testing of the COVID-19. Now, when the efficacy of this particular test has been measured, it is having the 94% sensitivity and 98% specificity. Now, sensitivity means that the how much positives will be detected. For example, just suppose that there were 100 people, all of them were having the COVID-19. Then, guys, 90%, 94% sensitivity means that out of them 94 will be identified truly. It means that the 6 people might not get identified, and it denotes an error. Then, guys, 98% specificity means that how much negatives will be detected. So, for example, just there were 100 people and all of them were not having COVID-19. And if 100 of these were tested, 98 will be declared as negative, which is true, but 2 will still be given as the positive of COVID-19. Now, this 94 and 98%, it is in comparison with the RT-PCR. Guys, RT-PCR is also not having the 100% sensitivity or specificity. However, there are different estimates on that thing. We don't need to see that issue. Now, guys, into this particular test, the sample from the nasal swab is taken just like the RT-PCR. And one more advantage of this COVID rap test is that it can be operated with minimal of the training, whereas into the RT-PCR, a molecular biologist is needed to conduct this particular test. Now, guys, what is the mechanism here? So, into this, a portable machine is there. Now, guys, this portable machine is also very much affordable. It cost just near 5,000 rupees, whereas the machines for the RT-PCR, they are more than 25 lakh rupees. So, into this portable machine, the some RNA sample will be taken and it will be mixed with a master mix and into the tube. Then that particular solution will be heated here. After heating it, then it will be further mixed with one more solution and it will be reheated, and that particular solution which we will be getting after this process, into that a paper strip will be dipped, and the paper strip will be having the color coded lines, and onto the basis of appearance of those lines it could be told that whether a person is suffering from the COVID-19 or not. So it is just like the pregnancy test. However, there are some other processes of heating, reheating, mixing with the agents and all such kind of things. Guys, you don't need to go too much into these details. So guys, this could be an important breakthrough. So right now the RT-PCR tests are being used, antibody tests are being used, antigen tests are being used, and this also will be another kind of test. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, this particular article pertains to GS paper number 2 health, and it is talking about the state of global air 2020 report which has been published, and it is actually telling the scale of the pollution and how much problem it is causing. So according to this particular report, 1.67 million deaths are being caused every year due to the long term exposure to the outside as well as internal pollution. Now, guys, this pollution aggravates the conditions of diabetes, lung cancer, neonatal diseases, etc. And because of the neonatal diseases, every year more than 1 lakh infants are also dying because the quantity of the PM 2.5 increases over the safer limits. However, guys, such kind of micro data you need not to keep it in your mind. But guys, as the pollution is becoming such a big problem and already questions into the UPSC has been asked, so there, just to authenticate the scale of the problem, you can quantify or you can quote these particular kind of sources. Now, guys, the State of Global Air 2020 report has been published by the Health Effect Institute, which is a US based agency. Then, guys, further talking about this particular thing, it has been said that India has the highest per capita air pollution exposure, which is very much disturbing. This is the highest into entire world. Further, guys, it has been said that now it will become even more problematic because the air pollution will aggravate the heart and lung diseases, and the people with these diseases, they are more susceptible to the COVID-19. So therefore, as urgent as possible, government need to take certain steps, such as into the winters the pollution is majorly caused by the stubble burning. That particular thing needs to be stopped. After that, the ban on construction activities, vehicular exhaust, all these things need to be taken up. So guys, that's all about this particular news item. Now we'll be moving to the next. Now, guys, this particular article I had taken from the Live Mint newspaper, and it is talking about the manufacturing and will be important for our GS paper number 3. Now, into the past few days, the government had talked extensively about the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, where the clarion calls have been given, such as vocal for local and all these kind of things. Now, guys, on one hand, local is there, but on another hand, there are all the proponents who are also advocating about the globalization. So a kind of a dichotomy confusion has arisen that what is more important, to be global or to be local. Actually, this particular article, by taking the example from the heavy vehicle manufacturing, gives that both are needed in order to get the advantage in our manufacturing. Now, guys, before entering into this article, just let me give you some comparison. See what happens into the developing countries such as India, the innovation needs to be more higher than the innovation which is happening into the developed countries, because already the gap has been created there. They are rising, and our leap needs to be even more faster if we want to reach at their level into the times to come. So therefore innovation is needed. Now guys, it has been said that both the global as well as local will be helping into this particular innovation, and we can match the level of the developed countries into times to come. Now, prior to 1991 LPG reforms, our commercial vehicle segment can serve as a case study. See what happened in 1950 when we got independence. After that, the industrialization was chosen as a prime moving force by the government, and four firms were chosen, and they were given license to produce the commercial vehicles. Into that, the Tata or the Telco was the one such company. Now here these firms were told that if they want they can import the outside technology, the equipments, but there is one conditionality, that within 15 years they need to perfect such capabilities that 95% of all the spare parts which will be used into the heavy vehicle trucks, they will be produced into India. Now guys, this particular thing was not very much easy, because making such a complex machinery includes a large number of subcomponents, parts, etc. But it was said that under this particular pressure, the Tata achieved this particular target even before the 15 years, and achieved so much of excellence that now Tata is exporting the heavy vehicles to more than 50 countries, and even to the countries such as USA, the parts are being exported by the Tatas. Now, it has been said that how this particular thing was possible, because into these 15 years, the Tata learned extensively from the manufacturers of the developed nation, worked very closely in coordination with them, and developed the own tendencies. And guys, it has been shown that industries grow by accelerated learning, and such kind of learning many a times come from the foreign sources, because in the home country capacities are not there. Time bound targets are to be given to the industries, incentives are to be given to the industry. It has been said that everybody is talking about the free trade agreements, but free trade agreements are actually overhyped. Guys, in India before 1991, all such kind of time bound targets, accelerated learning, etc. were being promoted when government used to announce their industrial policy. Now, industrial policy has been considered presently as a taboo after the 1991 reforms. During this particular time, the Washington Consensus emerged, where it was said that the state should not interfere into the decisions of manufacturing, etc. But guys, the China never took Washington Consensus too seriously, and it focused on propagating their industrial policy. That is the policy state dictated the enterprises that they should learn from the foreign nations, they should collaborate them, which they should innovate them. And guys, because of so much of learning, many a times China was also blamed for stealing the technology. It was said that China copies others technology, but China didn't focus onto that particular thing, and now China is the most suitable country which can absorb the artificial intelligence, machine to machine learning, fourth industrial revolution. And this has been said by the Niti Aayog's action plan. Now guys, it has been said that this particular debate that global is needed or local is needed, it is redundant. We need to incorporate both global as well as local. Our local firms, local manufacturings need to be integrated with the global, so that they can inspire, they can imbibe the technology, they can imbibe the innovation, and by that particular thing they can make such products which can be utilized by the local population. Moreover, not only the firms needed to learn, rather our demographic dividend, our population, they also need to learn the high skill set from the foreign collaborations, and they should contribute into the production of such products. Moreover, guys, as we are talking about consumption, within the consumption focus needs to be more onto the local, so that the demands can be created for our own local products. They can increase the employment, and the general prosperity level into the nation can be increased. So guys, very good answer. If the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan, etc., anything is asked, you can give such references. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article is talking about the menace of the sanitation, and into the sanitation, how manhole cleaning or the sewage cleaning is not being given so much of attention. Guys, it is a social problem and will be important for our GS paper number 1, as well as a part of a social justice. Such thing is also important for our GS paper number 2. Now, guys, talking about this particular article. Now, first of all, manual scavenging as a practice is the most inhuman and derogatory form of labor, and it is not a clean work by any definition. Now, guys, when we are talking about manual scavenging, there could be two dimensions. One is the manhole cleaning, that is the cleaning of these sewages. Second is the cleaning of these dry latrines, where there is no connection of the water and there is no connection with the sewage. The human excreta is collected into this particular pit, and then that excreta is carried manually onto the head of a person and he cleans him. Now, this particular issue was very much problematic because not only it was derogatory, rather it was also associated with one or two particular castes, and therefore this particular thing was condemned. Now, guys, the civil societies, they led a movement against these dry latrines, and in 1993 government passed an act which prohibited the construction of the dry latrines, because if they will be prohibited, obviously the manual scavenging also will not be carried here. Now, guys, if I tell you, before bringing this particular kind of prohibition, even the states, they used to have a post into their department for the manual scavengers. What the states used to do, they used to levy a manual scavenging tax, and this tax was levied onto those houses which are using such a kind of dry latrines, and by that particular taxes these manual scavengers were paid salaries and they were asked to clean these pits. But, guys, as this act came, the state governments stopped this particular practice. Now, guys, it has been said that though dry latrines were not allowed, but, guys, still they were being practiced extensively. And in 2000s, a new round of protest was started into the form of Safai Karamchari Andolan, and it actually said that though the dry latrines are prohibited, but they are not being strictly implemented. Therefore, in 2013, government brought a new legislation, that is a prohibition of employment as manual scavengers and their Rehabilitation Act. Now, guys, the construction of dry latrines has actually come very much down, but still there is one angle which has not been paid attention, that is cleaning of these manholes or these sewages by the manual, into the manual way, where the workers, they enter there, and many a times they have died also there due to the buildup of the toxic gas. Now, it has been said that their attention is not being given. Now, guys, government is planning to amend this 2013 act, and it is trying to bring the provision for the mechanization of the manhole cleaning. But, guys, even the government's proposal is not talking very vocally about the labor safety who are involved into such kind of cleaning activities. Guys, it has been said that even into India, the labor movements are not very much organized, and they are not in a capacity to demand the issues or the basic things such as the permanent job status for the manual scavengers. Even till today, the manual scavenging and these cleaning kind of dangerous cleaning kind of things, they are being given to the contractors, and these contractors, neither they give the proper labor nor they provide them any protective gear, and even till today large number of deaths are happening into the septic tanks, sewages, etc. Further, guys, it has been said that to hire the cleaning workers, there is a provision for the competitive exam, but, guys, still the local administration prefers the particular caste for hiring the people for the cleaning work, and it shows that how the caste and the occupation are still linked, and this particular thing is not anyhow, it can be acceptable. Now, guys, as the COVID-19 has come, now, guys, again the workers into the cleaning profession, they are being forced to give the duty into the COVID-19 wards. Now, guys, it is not bad to give the duty there, but an option of choice also needs to be there. Moreover, there is also not often they are given the protective gears there also, and in this particular way, they are being crudely exposed to the virus. Further, guys, it has been said that into the cases of the cleaning workers, there are no strict rule books, that is, their office timings, their holidays, their provisions for the social services, they have not been clearly defined. They are not given any vehicle to go to their duty, and often they have to go into their garbage trucks. There are no designated workplaces within the office compounds, and they are just treated to sit outside the office building onto the pavements and such kind of things. So, guys, it has been said that even into the 21st century, such kind of inequality is being adopted by the people who are involved into the cleaning. And, guys, these are the people who are actually keeping the society functional, and their services are often being ignored, and they are not being given the due treatment. So into this particular direction, thus the civil services movements, etc., they need to come together and need to press for the reforms for these workers. So, guys, this is all about this particular article, and can be a very important dimension or for the society and social justice. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article, it is just very specific viewpoint of the writer, and it is just talking about one very basic idea. Guys, it is talking that as the new education policy of 2020 has come, it has talked about bringing the artificial intelligence, data sciences, and algorithms into the learning curriculum. Now, guys, the authors of the article, they are having a problem that why algorithms, they are not being treated on some extra ground, why they are being equated along with the data sciences and artificial intelligence. Now, guys, first of all, what do we mean by algorithm? Now, into the most basic terms, we can understand that it is a process in which a particular result is being achieved by following certain steps. Now, an example of an algorithm could be a recipe to make a particular dish. Now, whenever you want to make a dish, there are certain pre-designated steps which are being followed into the backend, and the forward result is that particular dish. So, guys, algorithms are now being used extensively for large number of processes, particularly into the field of computing. Now, it has been said that the algorithms are as old as mathematics. Since 3000 BC, they are being practiced, and they had even appeared into the Euclid's book. But, guys, the algorithms have not been given that much due attention here into the new education policy. However, guys, further the old historical ancient examples has been given where it has been utilized, but that particular thing will be highly subject specific, and those kind of things are not asked into our GS exams. So, guys, just this particular thing we need to see here. That's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, here I had just taken a reference from the Live Mint where the terminology has been used, that is, the India's Dickensian urbanization. Now, guys, what does this particular thing means? Now, as the COVID-19 pandemic has come, we had got to know that how it is being spreading into the slums. For example, the Dharavi slum of the Mumbai, it appeared to be one of the hotspot. Into these slums, there are the problems that the people don't have the proper facilities to practice social distancing, hygiene, they don't have the clean water, sanitation facilities are not there. Now, guys, this particular problem of Indian slums has been called as India's Dickensian urbanization. Now, we need to understand that what does this word Dickensian means. Now, guys, it is derived from the name of a writer, the novelist Charles Dickens, who was very popular for writing the novel Pride and Prejudice. You might have read it into your school if you have been from the ICSE board. Now, he had portrayed the Victorian England into a light where it was very dark, it was struck with the poverty, then there were so much of gloom, darkness, all such kind of things. So, guys, the word Dickensian means one with afflicted with poverty. Now, India's urbanization has been called as a Dickensian urbanization. It means that the people, as they are coming into the urban areas, they are just being blinded into the poverty, ignorance, hunger, and generations of generations they are spending into those particular slum like conditions. Now guys, it is always hoped that this urbanization will be helping India to achieve the high growth rates, because what happens, see, always we say that the cities are the engines of growth, and as these cities are engine of growth, they need the manpower, and this manpower comes from the villages, the interior regions, and when they come newly, they have to settle into some unhygienic conditions, and the problem of urbanization for some time stays, but into the long course of time, the people living into these slums, they are absorbed into the middle class, and slowly after some years, the quantum of the slums reduces. But India's urbanization is not seeing this particular type of trend. Rather, over the years, the slums are even increasing day by day. Guys, there were also slums into the London, they were also into the New York, but today they don't exist. Into the 30, 40, 50 years span of time, much improvement has been carried. But in India, such kind of thing is not being observed. And guys, the COVID-19 has again reminded that India is living into an Dickensian urbanization. So guys, this is particularly a phrase which has been used. Guys, we don't need to see that how much people into the slums they were infected, and how much people in which slum they are living, what are their per capita income, and those kind of things. Rather, such dimension could be utilized into the answer of GS paper number 1, the topic of urbanization. So that's it. Now we'll be moving to the next article. Now guys, this particular article provides about the concept of the travel bubble. Now, the Singapore is exploring to sign the travel bubble arrangement with the India. Now guys, the travel bubble or the air bubble, these are simply the mechanism where if the two countries or if the two zones are having the similar kind of norms with respect to the quarantine, testing, diagnostics, etc., then these two countries or these two regions can start the flight operation. Now guys, as the COVID-19's restriction are eased down, the countries who are starting their air travel, they are signing such kind of air bubbles with each other. Now the Singapore and India are having very close contacts, and large number of Indian citizens, they are working in Singapore, and the Singaporean citizens, they are working in India. So it is now being decided that very soon the travel bubble will be installed. Now, guys, all these things have been said by the Simon Wong, the Singapore's High Commissioner to India. Now, it is also being said that though the COVID-19 pandemic has come, though the quantum of investment has gone little bit down, but still Singapore is very much interested in investing money in India, and Tamil Nadu is actually a very favorable destination where the Hong Kong will be considering the investments into the times to come. However, guys, just that's it. Nothing much more important into this particular article. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, here into this particular article, the WHO's chief scientist, she had talked about the infodemic management in India. Now, the infodemic, guys, it is a phenomena where so much information is available onto the internet, onto the social media, onto such kind of platforms that a person is not actually able to know that which information is to be trusted, which is not to be trusted. And guys, often such fake informations are also provided onto such kind of platform that even some objective and factual kind of things are also seen under the lens of the conspiracy theories. Now guys, just take the example of the COVID-19. Now it has been clinically scientifically proven that wearing a face mask will save you from the viral load. But guys, now the people are basically so much influenced by the fake information that is provided that people are clearly negating the social distancing norms, the importance of mask wearing and all such kind of thing. So guys, the excess of information leads to their problem. Therefore, the infodemic management needs to be taken, and it is a very serious challenge. With this particular direction, it has been said that the WHO is actively trying to cooperate with the technology companies that they should not promote such kind of trends which are promoting such some any kind of the false beliefs. Further, guys, it has also been said by the Soumya Swaminathan that into the times of COVID-19, the importance of the technological solutions such as the telemedicine have been highlighted to be very much important, and into the times to come, the countries should leverage onto this particular thing. Now, guys, please do utilize this particular terminologies. For example, in GS paper number 3, the issue of the cyber terrorism, cyber security threats, it is mentioned. And guys, with the intrusion of the cyber technologies, social media, internet, the infodemic is coming up, becoming a big problem. So that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article pertains to GS paper number 3 under the topic of the manufacturing. Now, here just it has been said that government might be expanding or widening the scope of the PLI plan. Now, the PLI stands for the Production Linked Incentive Scheme. Now, guys, here government had just now released that the electronic components as well as the mobile phones, if they are being produced in India, and guys, over and above a threshold limit, if the countries are manufacturing the mobile phones and mobile phone like components, they will be given a subsidy component of 4 to 6%. Now it has been said that the PLI scheme is a very good scheme and it should not be limited to the electronic component and electronic mobile phone segment, rather it should be expanded to the other areas also. So government is now saying that 7 to 8 sectors are being identified where this particular scheme will be expanded. However, guys, as they will be finally be identified, will be looking into this particular direction. Now, guys, under the PLI scheme, government had just a few days back had shortlisted the 16 of the manufacturers who will be given the advantage. Guys, deliberately I am not going into too much of the detail, because already on to the 8th of October and 15th of October newspaper discussion, we have taken two articles, editorials in fact, onto the PLI scheme. So guys, if you have missed it in any case, please do refer to the 8th October and 15th of October. You will be getting the entire insight along with the way forward, emerging issues and the challenges. So that's all about this particular article. So friends, that's it for today's newspaper discussion. I hope that you are liking our initiative. Thank you so much.